Hello there gorgeous gamers, and welcome back to Pure Play TV, and we have our review for the colourful 3D platformer Kao the Kangaroo. Is this blast from the past worth a trip down under, or is it one that you should skip out on? Get it? Skip out? Kangaroo? No? Let's get on with it. Kao the Kangaroo is a throwback to the days of gaming where you got what was on the disc. Nothing more, nothing less. If there were bugs and glitches, there was no day one update or a massive patch 3 months post-release. Simpler times when cute animals were given voices, abilities and stories. Kao the Kangaroo reminds me a lot of my younger years playing Spyro. The comparison between Spyro and Kao the Kangaroo is an easy one to make. A colourful platformer where you go from hub world to hub world collecting relics, diamonds and coins, all while punching and pounding enemies and smashing crates to collect whatever is inside them. It sure sounds very Spyro-ish. Boss fights at the end of each hub world before moving on to the next one. Again, very Spyro-ish. And that's a good thing, because Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon is one of my all-time favourite games, and any game that aims to replicate its success is sure to be a hit with me. And a hit Kao is. The platforming is basic enough that my young son, Charlie, who's 6, can pick up the gamepad and play through a level, but there's enough challenge for him to remember that I'm the man of the house and he will ask me for occasional help. Combat is very simple, with Kao's fighting moves being limited to a simple 3-hit combo, a jumping tail whip and a ground pound. It's simple, but effective, and again, great for younger players who prefer mashing buttons instead of Dark Souls style measured combat. I did find it to be a little too simple at times, and I did find myself wishing that Kao's gloves packed more of a punch with their abilities that are gained throughout the story. The game's story goes that Kao's sister has gone missing, so he sets out to save her with the help of his father's magical talking boxing gloves that can be used not only in combat but also to help solve the game's simple platforming puzzles. Throughout the game, Kao can collect 3 different power-ups for his Tyson hands. Fire, ice and wind, with the latter only really coming in right towards the end of the game. Fire gloves can be used to melt ice blocks, reveal secret side passages, and deal an explosive blow to enemies in combat. The ice gloves can freeze water, stopping waterfalls in their tracks and opening up new climbing paths to collect hidden collectibles. And finally, the wind power. The weakest of the 3 is less wind and more pull. It's used to pull objects towards Kao, like moving platforms or blocks to reach higher areas. To be honest, I found the power-ups to be a little bit underwhelming. In the course of solving puzzles, they work well, but with there only being 3, they do get a little tired after a while. And their effects in combat aren't really that pronounced. Again, I can understand the reasoning. Too many power-ups and you risk confusing the smaller players. There's definitely a balance to be found, and Kao falls just a little too far on the side of simple for my liking. Combat is not the big pull though. Exploration, platforming and collecting shiny things are what players want, and that's what Kao the Kangaroo delivers really well. Each of the game's themed hub worlds contains a handful of levels, each being unlocked after you've collected a certain amount of magical rune stones. Again, it is a little like Spyro unlocking portals with his dragon eggs. I liked it, and I knew where I stood, most of the time. I did have a few occasions where I was genuinely stumped as to what I should be doing next. One boss fight ended with a cutscene that my son Charlie decided to skip. What's his rush? He's 6, so I didn't get the full whack of the cutscene, which would have told me what to do next, I think. I ended up running around the Frozen Mountains hub world for well over an hour, trying to figure out what I needed to do to get to the next world. I spoke to the guy who transports Kao around, much like the frog and his hot air balloon in Spyro, and he gave no advice. After smashing everything, collecting everything, and teaching my little boy some of my favourite swear words, I finally figured it out. All I had to do was go to the travel point and choose the next location. It was that simple. And annoying is not the word, and I wish that the game had done a little better at guiding me onwards. A map of sorts, maybe an on-screen hint, anything would have been better than nothing. It's a small gripe and maybe the biggest one I have with the game, so that's something. For the most part, Kao the Kangaroo was a really fun game to play through with my son, and we both enjoyed the vivid graphics, the old school simple gameplay, and to some extent, the story. However, the voice acting leaves a lot to be desired. I did mention this in my preview earlier in the year, but I expected Kao to be Australian, for obvious reasons. Instead, Kao and the rest of the game's characters have dodgy accents, most likely spoken by actors with English as their second language. It wasn't a big deal for Charlie, but as a foreigner living in a foreign land, I've definitely got an ear for it, and it's something I noticed right away, and I never stopped noticing, but I suppose that's just me being picky. Kao the Kangaroo is a fun game for kids and adults, and it's surprisingly lengthy, so don't be afraid that you won't be getting your money's worth. There are plenty of levels to explore, stuff to collect, and even some cool costumes to buy for Kao, one being his original model from the PS2 games. I didn't even know that Kao was around back then, but I certainly know of him now, and I'm looking forward to his next adventure. Let's hope it's not more than a hop, skip, and a jump away. Get it? Hop, skip, jump? Alright, I'm done, sorry. And that is the end of this review. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please do us a massive favour and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button and leave a lovely comment if you've got one in you. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.